64 races. That's how long it took Carson Kvapil to get his first NASCAR O'Reilly Series win. And now, he's won back-to-back. What happened at Iowa Speedway to make that happen? Let's get into it. And hey, real quick, if you are a true NASCAR fan like me, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe to the channel. NASCAR Nation news is just getting started. We are pushing for our next subscriber milestone, and it's all about wheel talk from fans who live this sport every week. All right, let's get into it. Let's start with how this race actually came together, because it did not go the way most people expected. For most of the final run, it was JR Motorsports teammate Ross Chastain out front. Chastain led most of that run, looking like the guy to beat. But with just 5 laps to go, a caution flew, and that one caution completely changed the entire complexion of the race. Here's what happened next. On the first overtime restart, Chastain spun his tires. That gave Kvapil the opening he needed, and he moved right past him into the lead. But that wasn't the only drama on that restart. Right behind them, Brent Crews slid up into Ryan Sieg and Justin Allgaier. All 3 cars wrecked, and several others got collected in that mess too, and it didn't end on the track. That incident led to a post-race confrontation between Allgaier and Crews once things settled down. So now the race heads to a second overtime. And once again, Kvapil got the better restart over Chastain. But there was another twist. Rajah Caruth actually moved all the way up into second place. At that point, JR Motorsports had a 1-2 finish locked in with Kvapil and Caruth. William Sawalich came home third. Chastain, who had led so much of the race, slid back to fourth. Sheldon Creed rounded out the top 5. Filling out the rest of the top 10 were Nicholas Sanchez, Taylor Gray, Dean Thompson, Harrison Burton, and Brennan Poole. Now let's talk about what Kvapil actually had to say after the win, because it gives you some real insight into how tight that finish was. Kvapil admitted his biggest worry was Chastain's fresher tires, and he said he thought Chastain probably would have had the win if that late caution hadn't come out. He said his team got the restart they needed, and that's what sealed it. He was also asked about winning back-to-back races, and he made an interesting comparison. He said this win felt really cool, but not quite as big as his win at Indy. He credited his crew chief, Rodney Childers, saying the team wasn't the strongest in the first 2 stages, but Childers made changes that turned the car into a race winner. Now, here's something that matters heading into the next event. The battle to make the chase is razor tight with only 1 race left. Just 1 point separates Sawalich, who's +1, Crews also +1, and Gray, who sits at -1 right around that cut line. Caruth, meanwhile, is 15 points back. Let's back up now and walk through how this whole race actually unfolded, stage by stage. In stage 1, Ryan Sieg started from the pole for the first time in his career, and he dominated that opening stage. Allgaier passed his own teammate Chastain for seconds, and that happened just before the first caution of the race, which came out when Nathan Bird spun right in front of them. During that stage, Jesse Love had trouble. His car kept popping out of 4th gear, it just kept getting worse. He half-spun while the race stayed green, then had to speed on pit road, and eventually went behind the wall for repairs. That basically ended his day. Sieg held off a hard-charging Allgaier through slower traffic to win stage 1. Behind him, Allgaier, Creed, Chastain, S. Smith, Mayer, Kvapil, B. Jones, Day, and Sawalich. Moving into stage 2, Creed took the lead off pit road as several of the top runners lost ground during that sequence. Ryan Sieg actually fell all the way back to 8th. The next caution came for Kyle Sieg spinning, and that set up a frantic restart. Allgaier and Creed made contact battling for the lead. Allgaier tried going underneath Creed and cleared him, but overdrove the corner, and Creed grabbed the position right back. Allgaier kept pressuring him, Creed bobbled, and Allgaier snuck back by to win stage 2. Creed, S. Smith, R. Smith, Sieg, Meyer, Day, Crews, Sawalich, Hill, and Caruth rounded out that stage. Now stage 3 is where things really got wild. Allgaier kept the lead as the stage began, and the next caution flew with just over 100 laps to go when Alfredo spun. Most of the field stayed out, though Jones pitted since he was right on the edge of his fuel window. On the restart, Crews leaned hard on Kvapil, and it almost triggered a wreck right there. Then Sawalich went spinning after contact from Staropoli. This turned into a key strategic moment. Allgaier stayed out along with Meyer, Sanchez, Jeb Burton, Staropoli, Retzlaff, and Jones, while the rest of the field pitted, led by Creed and Chastain. and then came a stretch of caution after caution. Carson Ware crashed after contact with Love, who was 60 laps down at that point. LeVar Scott brought out the next yellow, followed by Mason Maggio. Just before Maggio spun after colliding with Staropoli, Chastain actually passed Creed to become the effective leader among the cars that had already pitted, even though he was fourth on the actual track. During that same caution, Allgaier and Meyer gave up their track positions to pit. And unfortunately for them, the cautions didn't fall the way they'd hoped. That put Jeb Burton in the lead, with Chastain lining up alongside him on the front row. Chastain then powered into the lead after Kvapil made it 3 wide up front. Allgaier, meanwhile, had to restart outside the top 20, but he made huge gains, climbing to 13th by the time the next caution flew. The 10th caution of the day, caused by Corey Day crashing hard into the outside wall. As the race resumed, Chastain faced heavy pressure from Ryan Sieg, but held him off. Kvapil eventually got by Sieg and started hunting down Chastain for the race lead. Behind them, Allgaier kept charging, working his way all the way up to 3rd, putting JR Motorsports in a 1-2-3 position. Then, with 5 laps to go, Jeb Burton spun, sending the race into overtime. That's when everything broke loose. Chastain spun his tires, Allgaier tried to go 3 wide for the lead, and Kvapil shot into the lead as Crews slid up into Sieg and Allgaier, wrecking all 3. Meyer, S.A., Smith, Carson Brown, Staropoli, and K. Sieg all got collected in that wreck too. That caution was the 12th of the race, tying the record for the O'Reilly Series at Iowa. On the final restart of the day, Kvapil cleared Chastain again, this time bringing Caruth with him. He held on over the final 2 laps to capture the checkered flag. And in the closing corner, Sawalich broke up that JR Motorsports 1-2-3 by getting past Chastain right at the line. So that's the story of how Carson Kvapil went back-to-back at Iowa Speedway, through 12 cautions, a tire-spinning restart from his own teammate, and a final green flag battle that came down to the wire. Here's my question for you. With just 1 race left and the Chase cut line separated by a single point between Sawalich, Crews, and Gray, who do you think is walking away with that final spot? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like this video and subscribe to NASCAR Nation News for more coverage every single week.